Greetings to you this day. This is Michelle Strickland, and I'm coming to you today with my daily theology lesson. It's my daily meditation that I do for myself every day because I want to be a better principled person. It just so happens that I love God. Choose God this day. The bad guys, they sin. The good guys, we sin. We all sin. It's whom you serve, You don't have to be perfect. No one is perfect. No one, Love yourself. Because if no one else loves you, if you love yourself, you'll be okay. If you lost everything, don't give up on yourself, because you can always rebuild. For those of you just tuning in, I focus out of the three major religious texts. The Bible, the Quran, and I'm in a Buddhist paperback, introductory Buddhist paperback called The Shape of Suffering, and it deals with dependent co-arising. And for those of you who are following me on this journey, I want you to realize that we're going to be talking about four different religions: the Hebrews, the Christians, the Muslims, and the Buddhists. For all of the shallow people out there with comments, negative comments, And there's nothing wrong with people embracing other people, culture, and wanting to understand how they think, okay? Because I'm here on this globe spinning with a whole bunch of other people different from myself, and I want to be able to get along with them. Simple as that. If this channel is too wishy-washy for you, then go somewhere else. Simple as that. Because you don't have to. If you want to be miserable and sad, go to the sad channel. Stay off the happy channel. Stay off my happy channels. Because this is for people who want to grow and be better. And for those of you, and for the couple of people that made the comments about all I do is beg, I'm going to still do my please subscribe and follow videos, okay? That was for you. And I'm leaving your comments there. Because I don't care, I want people to be able to say what they want to say, whether I agree with it or not. I don't have to agree with it. That don't mean that you don't have the right to say it. And so I want people to see the comments. The only reason I will delete a comment is if it's something that's obscene or it's cutting that affects it's a cultural insult. Then I'll remove it, because kids, I want parents to know that when they bring their kids to my channel for different videos, that's going to be a safe place for them. So now you can chew on that for the rest of the weekend. How about that? Now I'm going to get back to what I'm doing when it comes to my theology lesson. Okay. I'm back on the rotation of the Buddhist text, the Shape of Suffering. I usually rotate the text for those of you just tuning in twice a week, sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on what the situation is. And with the Shape of Suffering, I only read a little bit of it at a time because it's so complex, okay? And these are my meditations, so I don't really put, exact numbers on when I'm going to begin or stop or whatever. I just stop at a point where I feel like that's good for today, okay? So I'm going to get back into the Buddhist text, The Shape of Suffering, and it deals with dependent co-arising. And that's kind of basically, if there's no this, there's no that. Every word we use means something, and it relates to the other words in different ways, and it's how we phrase things, okay? Just look it up. That's just an idea to get you a seed, to get you going in your thinking. The feedback loops in dependent co-arising are most clearly shown in the Buddhist most complete analysis of its individual factors. Although even this analysis does not show all the feedback loops that can be discovered when the factors are pursued in greater detail. Let me read that again. The feedback loops in dependent co-arising are most clearly shown in the Buddha's most complete analysis of its individual factors. Although even this analysis does not show all the feedback loops, they can be discovered when the factors are pursued in greater detail. The feedback loops is just kind of like what I was talking about before. Every word, every phrase leads into something, and for every action, there's a reaction. Just look it up. Then it doesn't say it like that, but I'm just giving you a paraphrased version. To illustrate the principle of feedback, the most important fact to note about the following passage is the number of times feelings appear, both as a factor on its own and as a sub-factor of fabrication and name and form. Given that suffering is also a feeling, this means that the suffering produced by one sequence of influences can feed back into the system at several places. If it feeds back at factors of feeling, it would simply condition more craving. If it feeds back at the factor of fabrication, it could be subjected to verbal fabrication, directed thought and evaluation, and even to the physical fabrication of the way one breathes around them. If these fabrications are unskillful, applied with ignorance, they could lead to another sequence culminating in more suffering and stress. Sometimes we overthink things. Or, like I said, for every action, there's a reaction. Every word means something. The words can be used for positive and the words can be used for negative, but they all, when you put them together, they can have an effect on our systems, on our body systems, okay? If these fabrications are unskillful, applied with ignorance, they could lead to another sequence culminating in more suffering and stress. If skillful, applied with knowledge, they would dampen the tendency for this suffering to lead to more suffering in the present or future. Let me read that again. If skillful, applied with knowledge, they would dampen the tendency for this suffering to lead to more suffering in this present or future. If supremely skillful, they could cut the fabric of suffering once and for all. If the feeling feedbacks back at the factor of name and form, it would be subjected to an act of attention, which could be inappropriate, appropriate, or supremely appropriate, inciting unskillful, skillful, or supremely skillful intentions, yielding a similar range of possibilities. The feeling that results directly from the contact at the six senses could feed back into fabrication or name and form in similar ways. Look up the six senses if you don't remember it from school, okay? Then you'll understand more what I'm was saying before now. Thus, the precise way in which these factors could play through the systems shows not only the complexity of the systems, but also the precise way in which the systems offer opportunities for amplifying suffering, mitigating suffering, or putting suffering to an end. I'm going to stop it right there. So just, it's kind of like psychology, It's like it's kind of talk about like psychology. So look it up. Look psychology up. It seems like this Pentacle Rising is similar to psychology, okay? But anyway, remember to smile this day anyway and reach out to one person at a time, one person at a time, one person at a time, okay?